Got it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Poppin Marco here again with yet another Boogaloo Traditions podcast and brought to you by Funkin' Focus and Urban Artistry. And today is a very special one for me because I got the honor to bring one fellow Robot Mafia member. Ladies and gentlemen, Poppin Chuck. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's happening? How you doing?
Just fine, man. Before anything, I would like to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time, and I'm anxious to know more about your story. Okay, shall we begin?
Sure.
Let's go. And let's start from the beginning. Okay, we know you are a graffiti artist
Right.
and as well as a dancer.
Right.
And I would like you to tell us a little bit about your relationship with art and culture in general. Like, how was your relationship with art as a kid growing up?
Okay. Well, art was very helpful to me. I started when I was a little kid, 5, 6 years old, drawing, anything I saw, cartoons, cars, people, whatever. I was great. Whatever I was attracted to, I would draw it, I'd sketch it.
Oh,
I did cartoons. I did lowriders. I did sports cars. When I got in junior high school, I was doing I was into new wave. This was before hip hop. I was into new wave and funk. So I would draw stuff like I would draw like Atomic Dog, George Clinton Atomic Dog. So I draw that. And then when my teen years came in, I got more into graffiti. You
oh,
know, but I draw Prince too because I was into Prince, so I would draw that too. Anything I saw, I draw.
nice, nice. And what age were you when you started like drawing and doing art?
About 5, 6 years old.
Oh,
Yeah, about 5 or 6, and then I continued till I got like a preteen, 12 years old, and then and this is very beneficial because back in the day, everybody had you had a nickname. Everybody had a nickname. So my Poppin name, my original Poppin name was Sir Leo. So that was in the late 70s, early 80s. That was my name. So I used to draw. I used to draw my name in like old English letters. That's before I got before I got to graffiti. That's what I was doing, drawing my name in old English style letters.
nice, nice. And Poppin' Chuck, the name Poppin' Chuck came up when? Like, when did this name came up?
We say what year?
When the name Poppin' Chuck came up.
Oh, that came later. That was later. Like my original name was Sir Leo. That was like in
Yeah.
79, 80. And then by 80, I just started using Pop and Chuck to like the late 90s. Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, to late 90s because my name people just call me Chuck. My name is Charles. But before that, I was Prince. So I was known as Prince Charles. That's what I was known in high school. And junior high was Prince Charles. So that was my name then. And that's what my papa name was, Prince Charles. And then in the late 90s, I started using Chuck. So that's put Pop and Chuck. Yeah.
Cool, cool. That's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, how is your relationship with graffiti and drawing, and how does it relate with your dance? Like how your drawing and your visual art do a conversation with your dancing, and also how it happens backwards, like how your dance influences your other artistic expressions.
I think it's one and the same because when it came to my graffiti, I like the style called computer rock. And that has to do a lot with shifting and sliding. So in the late '90s, when I got together with my partner, that was an old school popper, Poppin Lady AK. We made a group called Geomatrix,
Mhm.
and Geo means angles and curves, and matrix means the birthplace, coming from the birthplace of. The matrix is the birthplace of. So coming from the birthplace of angles and curves, and that's what graffiti was. It's about angles and curves. So I put that together, I put my style together, and then with tutting, it has a lot to do with 45, 90-degree angles, and so I incorporate that in my artwork too. And then, of course, the waving has to do with what we call wild style. So wild style has a lot of loops and arrows and stuff like that. So when you dance, you make the forms with your body.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And also, if I'm not mistaken, the Robot Mafia logo, it came from you, right? You're the designer. Or
No, that's Cobra. Cobra made that one up.
Cobra. Cool,
But but
cool. Sorry.
but I made the letters up. The first letters we had, I made up the RM. That was our first logo, and then he made and
Oh,
then he made the character.
yeah, that's the one. Like the tattoo one. Yeah, I
Oh
cannot show
man,
this.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and talking about Robot Mafia, tell us who were the first members? Like we know there's T-Bugs and Cobra, and you were you three the first members. There were
Yeah,
someone else.
yeah, we the first members. Yeah,
Yeah,
Space
we
Capital was part of it too. Space
Space
Capital,
Capital.
he's part of Robot Mafia too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice.
But yeah, we're the original members. Yeah. Mhm.
And when did you started dancing? Like which year? How old were you when you started dancing?
I started dancing when I was a little kid, at 5 or 6 years old, 1973.
Oh, cool. Like
When I first, when I first,
almost.
I first saw the lockers. That's what inspired me dancing. Was the Campbell lockers. Yeah, that was my first inspiration. Campbell lockers.
Nice, nice. And it was, like I said, almost at the same time we started drawing and all
Yeah,
the artistic
yeah.
expression
Mhm.
came together. And were you in Chicago or Los Angeles when you
Uh,
started dancing?
Los Angeles, born and raised.
Oh, you were born and raised in Los Angeles. Oh,
Yes.
that's new to me. I thought you were from Chicago. Yeah. And how did you get to know T-Bugs and Cobra? Like how you guys got together and how the crew came up.
Okay, so I knew I was coming to Chicago, right? So Space Capital was the only person I knew in Chicago. So what I did was I was on MySpace and I was like, Poppers in Chicago. I tried to punch up something that said Poppers in Chicago, and Cobra's picture showed up. And I was like, oh, this dude from Chicago. Let me see if I can contact with him. And I hit him up on MySpace, and that's how we got connected. Yeah,
Nice, nice. And it was in the year,
like 2006.
yeah, cool. So
2006.
nice, 2006. And that's where when because T-Bugs told me that the roots of Robot Mafia come from the 80s, but the actual Robot Mafia with the name came in after the 2000s.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
how did the name came up? How you guys came up with
We
the
were just
Robot Mafia?
we were brainstorming, and we like, yeah, it's got to be something that have to do with the foundation, what we do. Everybody started roboting, so it's got to be robot something. And then T-Bub was like Robot Mafia, and I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. And we got to make the Mafia acronym so it won't, because there's another thing called Robot Mafia. It's like a cartoon and some other stuff called Robot Mafia. So we got to make the acronym, and the Mafia stands for Masters Aligning Forces Influencing All. That's the original meaning. And then
Yeah,
there's another meaning that T-Bugs had too, but that's the original meaning. Yeah.
yeah. The T-Bugs is mechanical, animated, funk-infused artistry.
Yeah.
And please tell us again your acronym.
Masters aligning forces, influencing all.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So does it work for you guys? Like there's any problem with having two acronyms? How you
No,
guys
it's
work
just
this
that
out?
no, it's just that he made it simple. He made it simpler because everybody's not a master. We the masters. So everybody can't be a master, but they can be, they can be an artist, a mechanics. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Gotcha.
everybody can accept that and embrace that.
Cool, cool. And how did the Robot Mafia Worldwide group came up? Because we have the originals in Chicago and we have members all around the world. So how the idea of expanding came up?
I think that's uh, has more to do with T-Bugs and Cobra when we were on the internet. He's like, yeah, we need to get some more. We need some more members. So we talked to some dudes in Thailand, and they were like, "There's a robot mafia in Thailand." We're like, "What?" Like, yeah, they like our stuff. We're like, yeah, they can be down with us. And then from there, we're like, well, we open it up to the world because we want everybody to embrace what we're doing. So we just open it up to everybody.
Nice, nice. And we have some other members in Chicago,
Right,
other than the OGs, the new
right.
three, T-Bugs, Chuck, and Cobra. Like we have Gold Girl, and who else is on the Chicago team?
Amira's a part of Robot Mafia too.
Oh,
Amira,
Amira.
yeah, she's really good, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. She was there's some clips of her, me, her, and then Emmanuel was a part of us too.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
man, Manuel.
And
Mm-hmm.
cool, cool. Now talking about your personal style, what styles within the Poppin family you do, and between these styles, which one do you consider to be your specialty?
Uh, I kind of, the things that I kind of mix it up.
Yeah,
I do a lot of, I do like wave, I can robot, I do some animation, do some bopping aspects. So it's a mixture. It's not one thing. When I feel the music, I just do what my body tells me to do, and then it comes off. It looks like a certain thing, like, oh, he's a song. So yeah, because I guess my influences, throughout the years. Yeah, so it's a
nice.
mixture. It's a mixture, but people would call it like an animation type thing. Cause I pop real fast or I move real fast, so it looks animated. You know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's cool. So you consider yourself like a multi-style popper,
What?
a multi-style popper.
Yeah, like a mixture. It's like a mixture. It's not one thing. You see a lot of elements in what I do.
Nice, nice. So now having a question about being an OG, do you usually take students you teach at some place? And usually, what do you look for when you're adopting or taking the students under yourself?
Okay, so when I first got to Chicago, I was working in schools, so I was in a program in schools, so I was teaching high school students, and then from there I started teaching like smaller kids. So I worked at another dance studio where there's actually kids, you know, um, and I taught like 5 to like 12 years old, you know, and then in between that I would take students, that wanted to learn privately that I thought was good, had some kind of talent, or they had the spirit, they wanted to do it. But I don't take everybody because everybody I don't think has a spirit for the dance. So when I see you have something, I say, I think you got something there. If you're disciplined, you can learn. So then I'll take those people on. And then I was teaching general classes, like I'll be teaching at a dance studio, you know. So that's why I go teach at dance studios and stuff like that. But I don't have any private classes right now. Most of them are just like in programs. They're like classes in programs. So you saw in my
Nice.
video, see my Instagram, it's me teaching in in a program, like an 8 to 12 week program teaching popping, and I'll go from program to program.
Cool, cool. So, since we're talking about teaching and bringing this culture to the new generations, do you have any messages for the new generations? And like, if you have to say something to the new poppers, to the people that are starting now in this culture, what would you say to them?
I say, stay disciplined, stay loving the funk. You know, you get funk in focus. You gotta be focused. You're gonna get the funk.
Yeah,
You gotta
gotcha.
stay disciplined, stay focused, and stay having fun. You know, don't take it too seriously. But take it seriously enough where you'll be a master of what you do.
I
Yeah,
gotcha.
and then respect the elders.
Always, always,
Respect the
that,
elders. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
always, always. So I have another question for you. And what do you want to see in the dance community? Like in the events and the mass dance community? What do you want to see? What you think we could do to make it better and a safer and better place for people to dance and get down and have fun?
I think I think you're doing a good job already. but but I think more group routines. More group routines. People doing routines together. And you said safer. I don't know what's going on, but I thought it's a new generation. So you guys are way safer than we ever been when we were popping. You don't have the threat of gangs and neighborhoods on your back. You can go anywhere and pop because it's universal now. It's not even about neighborhood. It's like country. You know what I'm saying? It's international now. So people from all countries will come and pop, and it'll be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. So talking about this, how it was when you were starting to dance and learning, like when you wanted to learn new movements or find new dancers, especially in Los Angeles, how would you do like to find new people or to be able to be in the jams and in the ciphers?
Okay. So back when we were younger, there are several DJ production companies. Like DJs would put on jams. So, but they were called the traveling DJ, and this is before hip hop. They would
Mm,
travel around and play funk music. So they started a production called Uncle Jam's Army, and that was like in 77, 78. And they would go around from place to place, park to park, and they would just play jams and people come and dance. And the poppers would come out to that. And then by the time the 80s came out, people were going to the beach. So then they would pop at the beach. So you meet people at the beach, because people from all over coming from every city would come to the beach. And then you would go to Hollywood because it was getting real popular, and the people were started performing on the corners. They would get down on the corner, Hollywood and Highland, and that was like in the early '80s. And then people would come out there to see people pop, and they would just meet different people from different cities and say, "I like what you're doing," or they value you, or whatever. So, and then also skating rinks. So they would appear at the skating rinks. So this is all neighborhood stuff. It's all stuff you do in the neighborhood. You got certain neighborhood skating rinks you go to, certain parks you go to. Of course, you go to the big thing with Uncle Jam's Army. That was a real big event. That's the biggest one in Los Angeles at the time. And we were there with like 10,000 kids dancing, like 10,000 just poppers, and there wasn't breaking in, but there was poppers, and then there was these dancers called mods, which came from the ska scene, which is comes from reggae. So we had a thing called modsters or mods, and they had a dance they would do. So it'd be modding, it'd be popping, and then people would just be boogieing and having fun. And then after that came hip hop. That when rap came in. Rap started coming in the early '80s. So it kind of just moved into the whole rap thing, and we still kept on popping to like to like 86. After 86, it kind of died down, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And you said you started because you saw the Campbell lockers. So
Yeah.
you started locking before you were popping. So
Yeah. I was locking and roboting.
yeah, nice. Who
Yeah.
were your first references as a popper or as a dancer in general? Like
Okay.
how
So my
was
first,
go on.
okay. My first references were, of course, the Camel Lockers. When I was a kid, saw them on TV, and I wanted to do what they did. So, of course, I saw the locking and the roboting. So, to my best of my ability, I mimicked it. I danced a lot and I did my thing. And what happened was my mother saw me dancing and she like, oh, that's cool. So she would take me to, she was working in a hospital, right? So on a day for the old people, they would have a day where they entertainment for the older people, right? So I would go and entertain the old people. Like I'd be roboting and locking. I'm a little kid, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, dancing in front of the older people, just entertaining them. And then it went from that to like a like a contest. Like we do like talent contests, and I would enter those with my sister and stuff. Memory dancing to Rick James, 1980, doing a robot, doing some popping in 1980 to Rick James. Yeah, yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And did you had a teacher, a regular teacher, someone who taught
Um,
this?
okay, this is how I started. um, I saw Electric Boogaloos. Well, originally, I saw the Black Messengers mechanical device. That clip you showed, I saw that when I was like 12 years old, like 77. So, like 10 years old, 77. So I saw that, and then I saw the Boogaloos. And then when I started going to parties and stuff, I started seeing people doing it. Like, oh, they doing it. Look at they jerking their body. They're doing something. And I was roboting and I said, oh man, that looks funky. I want to get into that. So I would see different people at different parties and stuff, and I would just go home and practice by myself. I had a couple of friends I started with, and this is back in the late 70s, going into the early 80s. A dude named Sato, he called me up. I hadn't talked to him in like 30 years. And he said, hey, bro, do you remember we used to have pop locking contests? I'm like, what? He said, yeah. I said, me and you would pop against each other. And I've been knowing him since 75. We went to elementary school together. So I was doing this in elementary school. So he told me, I was like, oh, yeah. And then when I got in junior high school, another dude around the corner from me, his name was Major King Calhoun, and he used to pop too. So me, Masato, and Major would pop, but we weren't a group. We just go around popping when we felt like it. But I was the only one they would come and get to battle people because they knew I liked to pop a lot. They had a couple moves, but I like to get out there and just go for it. So they would get me and push me into battles and stuff. And I'm like, all of a sudden I'm battling some dude at the skating rink or, in the neighborhood or something. And so-and-so can get you, go get him. They would go get people and bring them to my house or bring them down the street and like, hey, go get him. We'd be at the mall. He could pop lock. Get off on him. Go, you'd be like, you sitting there like, man, he put me on the spot. Okay, let's go. So they would just put you in battles. And then I didn't really learn from anybody. I kind of learned by myself because people didn't really want to teach you unless you're really close to them. Yeah, they wouldn't teach you. People was like, I don't want you biting my stuff or taking my moves, and I don't know you that well. And, so it was good if you had somebody from your neighborhood that could pop. That was good. That had a group, but nobody in my area had a group. I think they had like a group in the jungles that was down the street from my house. They have some groups on Crenshaw, but that was like just out of my neighborhood. So I had to go down the street to see them, because I lived in a different area. It was on Overhill and Slauson. That's where Nipsey Hussle used to live at, Overhill and Slauson.
Nice, nice.
And,
And how
and
was
Ice-T used to live over there too.
go on.
Ice-T the rapper, he used to live over there too. Ice-T the rapper.
Oh, Ice-T.
Yeah.
Nice. And you talked a lot about the battles. How was the battle scene? Like, especially between the neighborhoods, how you guys would do if you want to battle someone, how that worked.
Well, you would people would see you and they ask you if you're from a group or not, or you'd be walking with your friends and stuff, and they would just like You pop lock? You go, yeah, what's up? You're like, what's up? And they're like, let's get down. And then you're like, what group you from? Oh, we with the so-and-sos. Or you can meet up at the skate rink and they will come on with all with their outfits on. You like come all geared up. And they would, well, I'll see you at World on Wheels. You gonna be there Saturday night? Yeah, we're gonna be there. Okay. Okay, all right, we'll see you. And then all of a sudden it gets around, you bowed, then you won or whatever. It's like a rumor, like, oh, I heard so-and-so beat you, so-and-so group, and they would show up to the events, with their letters on their jackets and their outfits, and they would just show up. Me, I was an independent, so I was never part of a group back then. But I seen all the groups, back in the day, they used to come to skate rink battle. And they would go to Magic Mountain. They would battle Magic Mountain and Knott's Berry Farm. These are the amusement parks. And of course, parades. They would come out to parades and stuff like that. You heard Midnight talking about the parades. They would come to the King Parade, and they would come to the downtown event. So they have a lot of stuff going on back then for the community, and they would speak about the parade and get out, Yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice. And since you were from Los Angeles, and I did the same question to OG Midnight, I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna do this question for you. How were you guys calling this dance back in the day in Los Angeles? Because we know this dance have different names depending
Right,
on which city you came from.
right. We call it pop lock.
Pop locking.
I
Cool.
mean, but they called it popping too, but in the neighborhood, it was always known as pop locking. Like that was just
Uh,
the hood term was pop locking. That was it. Usually people from the hood did it. That was their thing. You pop lock. Oh yeah, I pop lock. Let's see you get down. And it wasn't locking. It wasn't locking. It wasn't roboting. It was pop locking. Um, After locking came roboting, and then from roboting came popping. And he had dudes that would kind of mix the moves up, and they were transitioning from locking to popping. And that's why I heard it's called pop locking. And then when I seen Shabadoo when he came here to Chicago and he was teaching a locking class, he did a real hard lock, and it looked like he was popping. And he kept going, I'm not popping, I'm locking. And it's like, dude, that looked like you popping, like you hitting. And he would clench his forearms really tight. He'd go like this. And he'd lock real hard. It looked like he was popping. It literally looked like he was popping. So I can see where that came from. Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah. But it's like a term that got around the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It's a term, and also when you were pop locking, it wasn't just tensing your muscles. People would do pantomiming. That's where the boxes come from. That's where the window pane comes from. They would drink, make illusions like they're drinking something or playing something, so they're adding like a whole theatrical aspect to their dance. It wasn't just jerking your muscles around and waving and stuff. It wasn't always that. So they had a combination of things that they would do, and it was a certain technique they would do, that was different than that was a little different than what the Boogaloos did, what the electric Boogaloos did. It was more like Oakland Boogaloo, if you want to be technical. The pop was more like it was like a combination, depending on who taught you, where you came from. It's kind of a combination. Yeah, yeah, because you have to look at the technique and look at what they do, and then you can figure out like, okay, I know what city you came from, I know who you learned from. I can tell by your technique. You're a descendant of this person, or this person saw the other person do it, and they copied that person, and you copied them. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I got you. I got you. Thank you for asking that. That's a very important information for us to have. And now talking about Chicago, I know you organize an event. I don't know if
Right,
it's every year or
right,
twice a year. Tell us
right,
about this event. How's it called and how does it work? You do it every year, every
right.
month?
It's every year. It's an annual event called the Poppers Park Jam, and I started in 2015. And I was like, man, we need some out here in the summertime for the poppers in the Midwest and people to come and pop. And Chicago's a great town. So I was like, let's do something. And I told T, he's like, yeah, do it. That'd be cool, man. Yeah, yeah. So I said, I'm gonna do it. So I just brought my speaker out. I brought my speaker out and I had my phone and I plugged it up and I said, hey, y'all, we meet at the park I'm gonna have a thing called Poppers Park Jam. We should come together and pop and stuff and have fun. They're like, okay. And then I did it. And then I got a couple of DJs, who's Manuel was our DJ back in the day. Manuel, he was our DJ. DJ Satch, that was his name, and he was our DJ first. And then we got Sid to be our DJ too. So Sid's our DJ too. And now we got Space Capital. Space Capital's DJ too. So this is like the this is our sixth one. Next year will be our seventh one. And I just did it to bring people together that wanted to pop. Of course, I added all styles just to have all the dancers because I love everybody dancing. So I want everybody to just have fun and have a great time in the summer. And I decided to do that because, of course, Midnight had his thing. I was like, well, we need something out here. There's nothing out here in the summertime for the poppers. I was like, let's do it. Let's bring people to Chicago. It's a great town.
Nice, nice. And if we wanna get in contact with you, if we wanna find you, where can we find on the internet, social
Yeah.
media? How we get in touch with you?
Yeah, just hit me a Poppin' Chuck 1 on Instagram.
Okay, you have another profile or another social media we can find
Well,
you,
well, I
YouTube?
do have another Instagram, but that's for my art. That's not for my popping. That's for my art. Yeah.
Nice, nice. And there's no problem. You can tell us about your art and graffiti profile because if we want some cool graffiti in our event or something, how can we find you?
Okay. You can hit me up Poppin' Chuck 1 or Artisan Notions on Instagram. That's two N's. Artisan and Notions is two N's. So yeah, you can hit me at Artisan Notions on Instagram or Poppin' Chuck 1 on Instagram.
Cool. Thank you, man. And I'm gonna ending this up by saying thank you for giving us a little
Okay, I
bit
get
of
some
your
shout outs.
time.
Can I get some shout outs?
Shout out time. Go on.
Okay, I want to give a shout out to T Bugs doing his thing out there, Robot Mafia, Cobra. I want to give a shout out to Space Capital. I want to give a shout out to Sid and Shadow Puppets. I want to give a shout out to Poppin' Lady AK from Los Angeles. Shout out to my homeboy, my other homeboy I forgot to tell you about, my buddy Kamani that I used to pop lock with in high school. He's part of Geomatrix too. Kamani, if we can find Phantasm from Long Beach, I want to give him a shout out. He was down with us too in the Geomatrix. Also, Midnight was down with Geomatrix too. Give a shout out to Midnight doing his thing. And just all the poppers out there. Libra Bob, that's my student. I want to give a shout out to Cam in China. That's my student. And just give a shout out to you, Marco. Give a shout out to the other Marco. Give a shout out to OG Winston. Give a shout out to every Auto Robot Mafia members and all the pop lockers and in the Midwest and other countries and just Los Angeles and Chicago and everywhere. And then also prayers for Pop Master Favor. Yeah, prayers for Pop
Nice.
Master Favor. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Poppin' Chuck, original Robot Mafia member. Thank you for coming, man. And see ya. I'm out of here.
Woo.